I go to school together. Some police officer in my school says, oh, she's hanging out with this person. Do you remember joking around in high school? Do you remember joking around in middle school with someone who said something funny? Now, what if the wrong person saw that? Then you step out, you're in a gang database. You're looking at the entire color wheel is potentially a reason for demarcating somebody as a gang member or a gang affiliate.
With my music, I feed off the pain. Like, I feel as if there's no pain, then there's no good music, you know? I don't know for whatever reason that happened, but I feel like they was just assuming they know what happened. In the article, they try to say that I was a gang member. That was wrong.
After that, he had police officers that would start showing up to his gigs the day before and talk to like the promoter. They would talk to the club owner or whatever, and they'd be like, if you allow him to perform, we'll shut it down. And so that's a huge violation of like your right to contract. I mean, it's constitutional violations, freedom of association. There's like an endless number of violations there.
Imagine every single day living on a block and having police walking down, driving down your neighborhood, walking down your neighborhood, asking you questions. Imagine you going to a school and your school teachers even know you're gang related. As a person who was gang related for so long, I went to a middle school and a high school that because I was gang related and because of my past and because certain neighborhoods was beefing with each other, what happened was certain things was took from me, like after school programs, abilities to go to school trips, and I think how we treat our youth or people who are gang related is that we're isolating them and treating them different, when in reality they should be treated as just like human beings.
What law enforcement and prosecutors tell us, and what the media repeats over and over, is that gangs are bigger, badder, more violent, and the greatest threat to our safety in this country. And that's not true.
There's a certain facts that we have to get right, is that 90 to 95% of crimes that are violence are not done by people who are gang related. And when we look at this idea that people who are gang related are out there actually doing crime, is no, these are guys who have a brotherhood, a sisterhood, who grew up together and just trying to find out, a way to, escape poverty.
We're at a very specific time right now where the issue is even more elevated for Latinxes than maybe before, because there's a new lens on it as well, which is how this gang policing is being used to deport Latinx immigrants and to criminalize Latinx youth. If you talk to an immigrant attorney who's representing an unaccompanied minor, out of nowhere, they were all over the place. They were popping up, gang allegations in their immigration files. And where were they coming up from? Schools. So you got a suspension in school that was about a gang-affiliated gang-affiliated social media, no real definition of what those things are. And then somehow that's landing in someone's immigration file and is a basis for them being deported from the country.
Even if someone's a gang member, that's not a crime. You're not actually a criminal until you commit a crime. So just off of even people that's gang members in their area, I feel like they shouldn't even be getting harassed either, because they're not doing nothing. You could be a gang member and you could be a full-time father, going to work, taking care of your family. From what I see with other people, I know it's not right. It's like a stereotype.
There's a real distinction on how these laws are being applied now and what they were meant to target, because if you're organized crime, you know, the idea is that you're very lucrative and profited. But like then the people who are getting wrapped up can't afford an attorney. They filed a TRO, and we did a temporary restraining order in federal court, and it was granted, which is great. And so he was allowed to perform that evening, and everything worked out.
In gang policing, we are handing the keys over to our law enforcement to document our children based on the color of their clothing, based on where they hang out, who they post photos with, and the children get no notice, the parents get no notice, the young adult gets no notice, the person 20 years later may be in a gang database and not be told. So if you care about stop and frisk, then you should absolutely care about gang policing and gang databases. The NYPD's gang database has 98.9% Black and Latinx individuals in it.